All right, getting the chills right now. Whew. Welcome to the Gamers Realm podcast. My name is Mr. Switch, and I am followed by my other co-hosts. I've got AWAKENBAKON.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I got ATARI X. What's happening, dude?
Hello there. How you guys doing?
We got back with us Phill Adams.
Hey everybody.
And we got the awesome and amazing Tommy Tallarico.
Yo,
what's up? What's up? I'm just like I said. I'm like, how do you say, geeking out for a second, but I'm relaxed. I'm straight. I'm good.
take a deep breath, my friend.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This is really cool. I'm representing. So that's
Phill doesn't bite.
I haven't yet this week, so be careful.
Doesn't bite often. Okay.
Often, right?
all right. So I'm gonna hand it over to right now, AWAKENBAKON. He's gonna ask you some big questions, and we're gonna head it off right now.
Rocking.
Got the guns.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
Doing good. I know Phil's been on the show before, but it was just before me. So, Phill, you're just meeting you today too.
Great.
How you doing?
Good meeting you.
We're here to talk with both of you guys. But Tommy, you are a little bit of jack of all trades, come to find out. You do a lot of music and composing and get in the video games at a very young age. I heard through a little birdie that, one of your inspirations was games like Asteroids.
Yeah, Space Invaders, Asteroids. Yeah, it's in the late 70s.
Yeah, that's that's when I started. I got my Atari. I think the 2600 came out in 79, something like that, and I've never looked back. I've always been a gamer. But you broke into the business in quite the way. You were doing music.
Mhm.
You were noticed by you were noticed by a game company that escapes me at the moment.
Virgin.
You were
Virgin.
Virgin.
Richard Branson. Yeah.
Yes, and
Richard Branson's company.
You were wearing a TurboGrafx shirt.
TurboGrafx 16 shirt. Yeah. And this is before the console had even come out yet. So no one even knew about it.
Oh, wow, man. That's cool. I was a big TurboGrafx fan too.
Yeah.
I played quite a bit, but what was it that really got you rolling? Like, gaming is what I want to do. I want to get in the gaming business. I want to compose music. Also have found something interesting out that you used to go to arcades and record the arcade music.
That's right.
And then splice it together and play your guitar over top of that, which I'm sure came out with some pretty interesting products.
Yeah, those were the first video games live concerts that I did back in the early 80s. Yeah, so my two greatest loves growing up were always video games and music. We come from I have a famous cousin in the music industry. So growing up, I would always, go see his shows, and, he would perform in front of 20, 30,000 people. So, you look up to, family members when they're doing stuff like that. And then video games, I was the first generation. Our generation, the Gen Xers as we're called, were the first generation to really grow up on video games, right? And growing up in the late 70s, early 80s, I mean, every generation thinks theirs was the best, which makes total sense. But for us, it was like, we were 10, 11 years old seeing Star Wars for the first time, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Tron, again, arcade boom and Atari and Intellivision, all that stuff was happening when we were, between the ages of 10 and 14 years old, right? So it made a big impact, I think, on a lot of people back then. And yeah, so I always used to, I always used to design video games as a kid. Me and my younger brother would draw the Intellivision logos and the Atari logos, and we'd get graph paper and make pixel art and stuff like this. Again, this is late 70s, early 80s. So it was always something that I was interested in, but I never thought I'd ever put the two together, because there was really no such thing as a video composer, or, how would you get in the video game industry? And I grew up on the East Coast, in Springfield, Massachusetts. And when I turned 21, I left my mom and dad crying on the doorstep. I'm the oldest in an Italian family, oldest son. And I just got in my car, and a little 2-seater car, and I drove to California. It was something that I always, felt like there was something out there for me in either the entertainment or music or video game industry. And I went there by myself. I got in my car. I was in one seat, and my other seat was filled with my clothes and a couple of keyboards and my teddy bear. And I had no friends out in California. I had no job. I had no money, no place to stay. And I drove 3,000 miles across country, and I was homeless. I was sleeping under the pier at Huntington Beach, because the only thing I really knew was Hollywood and Disneyland. And Huntington Beach is kind of in between, closer to Disneyland. And so I picked up a newspaper, and I saw a job for selling keyboards at Guitar Center. And I'm like, I can bullshit my way into that. And so I went down there, and I got the job right there on the spot. And they said, you start tomorrow. And so now I was in California 2 days, and I had 3 t-shirts and a pair of jeans. And the TurboGrafx 16 shirt I had gotten a few summers before. Again, this is the late 80s, early 90s. So it was out in Japan as the PC Engine, but it was just starting to come to America. And I had my mom drive me 8 hours to a state fair, because I would read all the video game magazines, and I saw that this new Japanese video game system, TurboGrafx, was going to be playing. It was in Toronto, actually. And again, I lived in Springfield, so it's about 6-7 hour drive. So my mom drives me there, and I wait in line for like 2 hours to play this machine for the first time. It was like Bonk's Adventure or something. Oh, yeah. And maybe there was another one too. I don't know if it was Altered Beast, or I forget, but it was definitely Bonk's. And they made me fill out a form after I was done to say what I liked about the system. They were doing focus group testing, and they gave me a t-shirt, TurboGrafx 16 t-shirt for doing that. Because back then, no one had video game t-shirts. See, like now you go to Hot Topic, you go on the internet. There was no internet back then. There's no,
yeah.
Hot Topic wasn't carrying. There was no such thing as Hot Topic. Walmart wasn't carrying video game t-shirts. Nobody had them.
You'd find them in the back of maybe comic books or something like that. Maybe gaming magazines. Maybe. Yeah.
But certainly not some Japanese video game system that no one had ever heard of that hadn't come out in America, right? So this was like my trophy. So very first day of my new job and my new life in California, I wear my TurboGrafx 16 shirt. And a producer who worked for Richard Branson, Virgin, the Virgin company, they were starting a video game company right down the street called Virgin Games. And they saw, it was called Virgin Mastertronic at the time even. And the guy sees my t-shirt and he's like, what the hell? How did you get that? Like, about TurboGrafx? Like what? Because he knew about it. And we started a conversation. And he says, hey, do you want a job? I said, yes. Doing what? He says, being we'll hire you. You'll be our very first video game tester ever. And so that was the job. And so I'm in California 3 days, and I was in the video game industry, and some can call it luck, but I call it fate, because all the stars aligned that day, right?
Yeah, you couldn't call it anything else,
Exactly.
That got you through the door, and from them. So you started game testing, and you started, I think at one point you asked if you could start making music for some of the games they were producing.
Yeah. And I didn't know how to do it. I just said, hey, do you need like music for these games? Like, how does that work? I don't know. How do you do it? And again, back then you pretty much had to be a computer programmer. in order to do music for video games. And I mean, I knew like BASIC, like that was the old language back in the 70s and early 80s was BASIC. Cause I used to like, program like, dirty text adventures or something,
Right.
Go in there, and, when you're 12, and so I knew the basics of programming, but not anything that, I could actually program or code. So what I did is I sat down with the programmers and I said, look, how do these systems work? Tell me how these systems, make sound. And they explained, well, there's an audio chip, a sound chip that's in the hardware. And I said, well, how do I play that? Can I play that? And I was telling them, they said, well, you have to write code like directly to the metal, as they call it, the terminology. You have to write directly, and it's just like a paragraph of numbers. And I'm like, well, what do those numbers represent? And they said, well, the first number is like the note number, like the note number, like middle C is a note 60. So, each note on a piano, if you 88 notes, say on the keyboard, each note has a number 1 to 88. Oh, okay. And then the second number is how long you hold that down for. And the third number, and that was just coming out. And I knew about that, right? I knew about that in the 80s, and I was in bands and I'd buy Roland MIDI keyboards and hook them up together. So I knew about that. And so they basically built me a tool where I could take my MIDI keyboard and I jack that directly into like the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo or the Game Boy or the NES. Like the Genesis was just coming out. Super Nintendo hadn't even come out yet. And so we were doing like Game Boy and NES stuff back then still. And so I could jack right into there, and then I would play the sound chip live right on my keyboard. And then I would route that into a MIDI sequencer like Cakewalk 1.0 for DOS. And then I would record what I was doing. And then I would have to translate that data into a paragraph of numbers. and then I would give that to the programmer. It was crazy, archaic and difficult, but that's how I got by creating all that music, back in the early 90s.
In the early 90s. How long were you with Virgin?
4 years. I left in 1994, and that's when the team that had done Earthworm Jim, we had just finished Disney's Aladdin. We had done Cool Spot before that, Global Gladiators before that. And so that whole team was leaving, and they formed Shiny Entertainment. And I had won Best Music of the Year award every single year from that point. And so I was getting calls from EA. They wanted me to do the Madden football games. Midway wanted me to work on the Mortal Kombat franchise. And then we wanted to start Earthworm Jim. Virgin still wanted me to do stuff for them. Capcom wanted me for something. Oh, Namco wanted me. So I'd get all these different calls from all these different companies who wanted me to come and work for them. And I decided, I'm like, you know what? Instead of like leaving my job and then just like going to work for somebody else, why don't I make my own company? And David Perry, who's my best friend and the guy who created Shiny Entertainment, and he also created Cloud Gaming, that he later sold to Sony for $383 million.
Oh, wow.
But me and Dave have, worked on all our projects together for 30 years. And he's, and he kind of said, he goes, yeah, you should. I said, Dave, what should I do? He goes, start your own company. Call it Tommy Tallarico Studios and just work for all of them. And I'm like, that's a great idea. So that's what I did. I left in 94 and I went and worked for all of them. And I was working on Madden football and Mortal Kombat and Namco games and everything, and Earthworm Jim all at once. It was crazy.
All those games are great, but there was one that I saw that you had something to do with that was a very underrated game that I really enjoyed. MDK.
Yes. So MDK.
Oh, wow, I haven't heard of that game
Yeah. Oh, that's
in a long time.
I tell you what, MDK, which was Phill had something to do with that as well, because me and Phill go back 25, 26 years. So MDK, Shiny Entertainment, ended up being purchased by Phill and the company he was working for. And Brian Fargo, Phill was the vice president, like senior executive VP. Brian Fargo was the president, and they own Interplay. And so Interplay ended up buying Shiny, and MDK was one of the first games that Interplay did with Shiny. And Playmates was involved with that as well, but there was like a crossover. And what a lot of people don't realize about MDK is that was the very first time you could zoom and sniper rifle in, like zoom in a video game. A lot of people think that it was GoldenEye on the N64, which was an amazing game. Like that was one of the first times that people remember seeing, like where you could zoom in. But in reality, MDK was the first game that did that, and you're right. It was pretty underrated. I mean, it came out on PlayStation. They ended up doing MDK 2, which I know Phill, you're involved with, because BioWare, the great company that does BioWare does so many great things. That was one of the first games they worked on, was MDK 2. For the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. So it's all interconnected,
Oh man. Didn't they
and Nick Broody was the game designer on that game. And Nick Broody was the game designer, one of the designers. I mean, it was a team of us, but he was the art director and designer for Earthworm Jim 1 and 2 as well. And Nick Broody, same guy from MDK, is also the guy who's the art director and co-designing with me our new Astro Smash game for Intellivision games. So again, it's all full circle here.
It's
at
all
Intellivision.
interconnected.
Circle of life,
Yeah.
One more question that I have that I'm super curious about. You have some world records.
Yes,
correct. Seven world records. What did you do? Please.
What the hell did you do?
Yes.
The one that
almost go ahead.
There's a couple I'm proud. There's three that I'm most proud of. First one is I'm the person who's worked on the most video games in their lifetime, over 350 games. And when Intellivision comes out, that will quickly shoot to over 400. And so that's kind of cool. My dad says, oh, finally, all those quarters I gave you growing up finally paid off. That's one. The second one is the longest running symphony tour ever. And that's Video Games Live. And we've done over 550 performances around the world over the last 19 years, performed over 2 million people live, 43 countries we've performed in, everywhere from Red Rocks in Colorado to the Hollywood Bowl, to the Royal Festival Hall in London, to stadiums all over the world, including the Bird's Nest National Olympic Stadium in Beijing, China. And that leads me, that segues into the third one that I'm most proud of, which is the biggest symphony concert ever seen live. And that was the Bird's Nest National Olympic Theater, 752,000 people watching me play guitar on stage with 100 symphony and choir. We had 10 100-foot LED screens across the thing, 800 moving lights. If you go on YouTube and put in Video Games Live Bird's Nest, you'll see some Street Fighter footage and you can see me as a little red dot playing guitar, but you can hear the guitar, but you can see me jumping around. it was amazing. It was incredible. So yeah, those are a couple of.
That is amazing. You're awesome. But I know somebody who might have about 100 questions for you right now that I need to let.
All right.
That's Atari X.
Atari. Now, Atari X. Is that what you go by?
Yes.
Okay. What the hell you wearing an Atari hat here? What are you insulting me here? Come on. They were our biggest rival. What do you got? Come on.
Got to go with my team. Got to go with the team.
Okay. Fair
This
enough.
is the team to go.
But I did wear this for you today. Look at this.
What do you got?
All right.
Hey.
We're converting him day by day, Tommy.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for that. I mean, the only way you can impress me more is if you pulled out an Intellivision itself. Because I want to see the.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, what?
All right.
What?
It's so pretty.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! Look at that wood grain and gold.
Awesome system. So you started your a new console up. It's in the works right now. What's going to be
Yep.
one of the main games that you have for it? What's going to be your starter game? So you're going to release when it comes out?
Yeah, well, the system comes with 6 pack-in games, and we're going to have 35 games on launch, and all of the games on launch are going to be $9.99 or less digitally. We also have physical media that's going to be $19.99 or less, and that's at launch. And the whole concept behind the console is that we want to bring family and friends back together in the living room, no matter what your skill level. So every single game has couch co-op and a single player mode. The console comes with 2 controllers. That's for the standard package. Do you know that's the first video game console in 30 years that has come with 2 controllers? The last one was the Super Nintendo in 1991.
Wow. I haven't really thought about that.
This is crazy, right? But it tells you where video games are going, where it's more of single player experience, multiplayer. A lot of multiplayer games are considered like a kid in a dark headphones on, because they're playing online. But when we were growing up, and you remember this, what should I call you? Awaken Bacon? Is that what I call you?
Yes. Awaken, however you want to go.
And I see Katsu has joined us too. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
How you doing?
That's
thank
why you
you.
jumped in
Sorry.
later on.
I lost track of time, just a lot of stuff today, and
No worries.
I saw the meeting. I was like, wait, I thought it was 6, and I'm like, no, that's 6 Central Time. I'm Pacific Time, so I got to jump on right now.
So the whole concept is, all of the retro stuff that we grew up on, we didn't have the internet. The games weren't that complicated. They were easy to get into. They weren't 7-hour experiences at a time. They were more simple fun. A lot of style that are kind of on mobile now, where they're simple and easy. And so if you look at the video game industry, there's 200 million hardcore gamers in the world. That's if you include Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC gamers, right? So 200 world, yet 3.1 billion people are playing mobile. And most of the games on mobile are considered casual or even hyper casual games, right? And so, so what we're doing is we're doing something very unique. I don't consider Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo competition in the normal sense. Because the problem with the hyper casual and so why are 3 billion people playing this and only 200 million people are playing home consoles? And if you look at the data, there's the convenience, this is in your pocket. So that's convenient. But you ask those people why they don't play console games, and the data all points to that they feel that controllers are too complicated, that it takes too long to get into a game. A lot of games are violent. It's very expensive. And, you know, to play with a family of 4, if you wanted to play even a PlayStation 4 game with a family of 4, right? You know, you're talking $500-600 after you buy all the 3 or 4 controllers, $30, $40, $50, $60 games, and which games are couch co-op that are going to appeal to everybody. You know, so like us as gamers, we look at games like Animal Crossing or like Overcooked, and we say, hey, that's a casual couch co-op game, right? But you put that to my mom, and she's not even like the dual analog sticks, she's done, right? I mean, it's not even a starter for her. And like Overcooked, which is a game I love. I'm not putting down Overcooked for any reason, but it's just an example of what gamers consider casual and what hyper casual or non-gamers consider casual are 2 completely different things. And so what we're doing was we're kind of bridging that gap, because the thing that sucks about games on this, microtransactions, loot boxes, in-app advertising, this kind of sucks as a controller. They want your credit card. They want your email address. There's zero curation. There's 2 million games that come out every year on mobile, and it's all 98% crap, right? So zero curation. But the biggest thing is that every single hyper casual or even edutainment game for kids, it's all single player. It's all like you buried in your mobile device. Now, there's a couple exceptions. You got Jackbox, right? There's great games like Space Team, but those are in the minority. That's like the 0.01% of games that are out there where everybody has a controller with a screen, but there's a main screen where everybody is enjoying something. And all the games we're making, most of the games, are for anyone can pick up and play. Anyone can pick up and play it. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortnite player or you've never played a game. Think of it as the Wii 15 years later, except all of our focus is on family entertainment that anyone can pick up and play. So, you know, we don't necessarily appeal to the hardcore PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Fortnite crowd, right? Just like the Wii didn't initially. But then when you start to see, oh, wow, like I'm a hardcore gamer, but my wife wants to play a video game with me. Oh, well, okay, I'll play this too. So it's get in, easy to play, easy to pick up for anyone. Games are inexpensive, like I said, and for families, we don't have any violence, no bad language, no sexual content. So all games are rated E for everyone or E10 plus. So our focus is the families, is the people that are, so we're between this and like a Switch. There's a big gaping hole there, right? In fact, I told you what the gaping hole is. 3.1 billion people, half the planet. So that's kind of the, you know, the path that we're on. We do things very unique and different. And we want to just stay in our lane and do that. I'm not trying to compete with Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. I'm not drinking my own Kool-Aid here. We don't have the infrastructure of those folks. We don't have all that. But where we can compete with them is in ideas, and we can compete with them in fun. And we just don't see there being like my mom bought a Wii so she could do bowling, but my mom didn't buy a Switch. And that's not to put down Nintendo in any way. The Switch is an amazing machine. It sold 75 million units. It's amazing, right? But there's a huge segment of people out there who either don't want to play the Switch because they feel it's too complicated, or they take it with them and this and that, right? And so we're just offering something new, unique, and alternative to what's out there for a different crowd.
It's refreshing to see when I'm going through the list of games in the library that are coming out, that a lot of them are remasters of some of the classic Intellivision games. Back in the day. Yes. And so in today's landscape where most games are, pay to win, highly narrative, dark games, like that's rules pretty much the roost right now, to see that there's a game system that's bringing back, biplanes and Astro Smash, and an updated version that not only, that it comes with 2 controllers that you can charge as you have them on the system, but there's also the phone app. So up to 8 players can play at once, Yeah. I mean,
here's one of the prototypes here, but this is the controller. So so you can see it has LED lights here, and LEDs on the buttons as well. So the buttons will light up. So you don't have to say, "Grandma, hit the ZR button." She's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It's like, hit the red button. But it has a speaker and a microphone, and a gyroscope and an accelerometer. So, like the old Wii, so you can see the ball kind of moving back and forth there. It's got the gyroscope and the accelerometer, force feedback, wireless contact charging, like you said. So you just put it right back into the base and it charges itself. And again, this is a color capacitive touchscreen. So just like the quality on your mobile devices, but what we did is this is a whole polycarbonate face. So you can drop this, throw it across the room. It's not going to break. It's not going to scratch like plastic. And so it's very, high density. You can literally slam these on the ground and it's totally fine, which again, you can't do with your mobile device. And so you get 2 of these as well with the machine. And you can see the disc, 64 different directions on the disc, and it's touch sensitive. See that green bar at the top? The more I press down on it, the higher it goes. So it's got touch sensitivity on this disc as well. And it's so easy. Like when you put this controller into somebody's hands, people understand the touch screen. That's easy, right? So we combine the best of both worlds, but we have this tactile controller. Very simple. You want to go down, you hit down. You want to spin to the right, you go to the right, left. So it's very, very, very intuitive for somebody who normally doesn't play video games, and kids love it too because it's got the screen and everything.
I like the colors and the lights. It's just seems so amazing. Like I can easily be playing Astro Smash at home, and this new version. It looks amazing, by the way. And I can have my play it with my girl or my kid, and then let's say one of my other kids comes over. We got 2 controllers, but they can just whip up their phone and boom, right in there.
That was the other thing. Exactly. You're pitching it for me now. Yeah, exactly. So you can hook up your mobile device, and you can hook up to 8 mobile devices to it. And so now your mobile can act as a controller as well. And we even have attachments that you can put on, like a disc and button attachments, so that you can actually turn your mobile device into a tactile controller as well.
Really?
So, nice. Yeah.
It's very, it's very cool.
But to answer Atari's question, because that was a roundabout, I got into the thing, but he asked me about what games. Here's the coolest thing is that every single one of our games on Amico and Amico is the Italian word for friend. Every one of our games is exclusive, right? So you won't be able to play our versions anywhere else, right? And so we have a couple of games that have come out on other platforms, but and a small percentage. And what we even do with those, we put them on our platform, and then we'll add more levels, different audio, more. We'll add a couch co-op when there wasn't one. We'll sell it for less. We have our whole leaderboard system and worldwide leaderboards and things like that. So we'll make it unique even to our console. But most of the games, the overwhelming majority of games, have never been on any platform and won't be. So even the Atari games, we got the biggest 12 Atari licenses out there, from Centipede, Asteroids, Breakout, Missile Command, Tempest, We got them all the best ones from Adventure to Yar's Revenge. We got them all. And what we're doing is we have the exclusive rights to reimagine those games exclusively on Intellivision Amico. So our version of Missile Command, you won't be able to play anywhere else. And here's the best part. Are you ready for this? How about 8-player Missile Command?
Yes, please.
All, you know, up to 8 players. And not only do we have cooperative mode in Missile Command and leaderboards and all that, but you can also play 4-player versus mode. So I'm on the bottom, you're in the corner, somebody else is on the top, somebody is over here. And so not only are we defending missiles, but we're the ones throwing them at each other. so that's super cool. So yeah, it's really cool.
Another game that's I was real interested in was Warlords, because I played that back in the day on the Atari.
We're starting Warlords. When's it, in spring, Phill?
Yeah.
And the Missile Command team is doing Warlords.
Same Missile Command team. So when you see how great Missile Command is, you'll know what you're going to get with Warlords. And again, we have so many options. By having that controller, you've got now 2 screens of information. Never could you play a card game like, Texas Hold'em on a console, and now you can hold your 2 cards that nobody else can see. You've never been able to do that on a console.
Yeah, you know, because whenever you play poker games or any card games on a console, it's by yourself and you're playing online, right? But what's the best part of playing cards? It's being around the table with people. Is that guy bluffing? Let me look him in the eye. Or you punch your buddy in the arm after you lay down your straight flush or whatever, right? And all that has been missing from video games, but not with us. Our games, you can see everyone has their own cards in their hands. We have like dice games like Farkle and things like that, where the dice, you can see the dice on the screen. And so you shake it and you can hear the dice, through the speaker, and you feel the shake on the screen. And then and when it's your turn, you throw the dice and it goes from your controller. You can see it and it throws up right onto the screen. Cool. And so those little fun touches, and Mr. Switch, you mentioned the lights. Not only is it like a cool looking thing, but it's also for gameplay as well too. Like we have certain things where you have to like match colors to open you'll see the color light up around here and you have to press that part of the disc to open the door, to figure out the colors to open the door. There's color combinations and all sorts of really fun stuff like that too. And there's lights on the console as well. So we have, and this is a 3D printout. So it's, I don't have a final one here. They're in the office, but I have to get one for home. But
you're saying the lights on them? Let me see if I can point something out.
The lights on the console?
I was going to show something. Let me get out of this.
You're going to show.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an old model. That's way old. That's old. Old.
I like
that wood grain is amazing.
The wood grain looks awesome. In fact, here
you get you can go to a couple of videos on YouTube and you'll see a whole light. It's not just lights on the console. Tommy is about entertainment with Video Gamers Live, and he's brought that whole thing to the Amico. So your console almost becomes a light show parcel to the entertainment. It's truly an entertainment piece.
Somewhere.
Yeah, if we can.
That's one of the controllers, but.
I think potentially when we got more time, we can come back on and show some of the videos of really what's going on, because it's truly amazing. The light show, the whole entertainment piece. Yeah.
Are you guys going to have
entertainment piece?
Like downloadable apps like Netflix or any streaming services?
No, I mean, my refrigerator streams Netflix,
There's too many devices
right?
now. There's too
many
things now that
I wouldn't want that.
We want this, we want this to be more of like just, we're not trying to have it be like the entertainment console. Again, we're not going to compete with Sony and all that stuff. People want to watch Netflix. They mostly have them on their smart TVs now, right? We want to be thought of as straight, pure video game system, you know, and that's it. Again, like the old days, you know, we're trying to
basics.
those old school mentalities. Yeah.
So the family can sit down and play a game.
Yes.
The game, they make up their own narrative as they go along. You know, they
15, 20 minutes, you're on to the next game, 10, 15 minutes on to the next game, 10, 15 minutes, boom, you're done. Yeah,
Hey.
you know, it's not like, because that's one of the big issues with games these days, right? Again, I don't know if any of you are married or have girlfriends or parents. You try to sit them down and say, hey, let's dive into like, you know, Call of Duty or Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's like, they'll watch it for a little while, but they're not going to play it with you. And they're not going to sit there for 40 hours watching you play, you know?
right. Definitely. That's what
so
I really
funny.
like about it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'll say it's so funny that you mentioned that, you know, your console is just pure entertainment because, and you don't want to have all these streaming services because I think for me, the reason why I liked the Switch when it first launched was there weren't so many streaming like Netflix and Hulu. And then now they're like, okay, well, people are asking and, you know, now we have to do it. And like you said, your refrigerator streams Netflix. I'm pretty sure down the line, if it hasn't already, washing machines are going to have
everything,
streaming services. And like, yeah. So I appreciate the fact that you guys are strictly just focused because like it gives you guys more time to be able to just focus on the pure gaming aspect of it instead of making it another device that allows people to just stream videos and stuff.
Hey,
it's purely for what it is.
One of our bundle titles, one of our sports titles, what do you think it's going to be for family entertainment? It's cornhole. And people laugh about it. The A, you're using the motion control. And B, the cornhole championships, I think, were the same week as Wimbledon on ESPN. And I think they outgrew them. They outgrew Wimbledon. So you tell me that's not a sport. It's a sport on Amico.
It's the fastest growing professional sport in the world. And again, cornhole is because the other thing, like I said, because we have a gyroscope in here, you can actually, an accelerometer, you can actually hold it any way you want. So if you guys look at our Astro Smash video that came out on January 1st, you can see me holding the controller and I'm playing like this. But what if I'm a lefty or what if I'm a righty? You can change it, the perspective any way you want, and it automatically adjusts the gameplay in the screen automatically. So for the first time ever, you know, a lefty doesn't have to like figure it, you know, readjust or anything. They can just move the controller around. And even like I said, when you're playing, you know, motion control games like bowling and shuffleboard and darts and cornhole, then you kind of use it more like an older, you know, like a Wii where you hold it like this and you have the, you know, either the trigger on the button and you boom. That's why you see the lanyard here. So it doesn't, you know, ruin your TV or whatever.
I'm actually watching it right now and you are showing that you're holding it like I'm a righty too. So you're showing it like you're holding it as a righty and you flipped it up towards like the standard like cell phone where you can play that way and you flipped it over that way. So I like the fact that when you're mentioning the gyroscope of it, I was like, well, how will it factor? And you're showing it here where like you can play at any however comfortable you feel. You can like, I love playing anything like this. So I'm not playing like this. So if I can play a game like this with one-handed, I'm down. Even on my phone, I'm like, I'd rather play it not landscape because I don't like to be sitting like this. I like to have it sometimes just one-handed. And
you know, the other interesting thing about that as well, if you watch that video, you'll notice that at any time, like in that situation, that video, like there was two of us playing. And then at any time, a third player can come in and boop, just join automatically.
Yeah, that's really nice. I like that.
Hop in, hop out, whatever.
There's no like syncing or like now the consoles. Now I'm not hitting on the consoles. Or like you have to like for the PS4, you have to make another account or pray that the console lets you have a guest account so you can throw another controller in. You guys are like, well,
get rid of the complexity.
Exactly.
You got to think about the quality of our games too. And Tommy mentioned that he holds the Guinness Book of World Records on working on more games, and we can laugh 35 games and we got 50 at work. Tommy's looking and judging and critiquing every one of those games, designing a lot of them. We can laugh about it. People can sit there and say, yeah, right. This guy is tireless. I've never seen anybody so involved in every single aspect of every single game. It couldn't happen anywhere else. I'm telling you, I mean, I shouldn't be blowing smoke up his butt. I'll pay for it later on, but it's amazing. It really is amazing.
That's really cool.
Hey, real quick, tell us a little bit about Earthworm Jim.
I was just going to ask that too.
Yeah, that's another one. Atari X is asked about games. I almost forgot about that one. Yeah, so we got the exclusive rights to do the next Earthworm Jim game. But here's the best part. What I did, because I was on the original team, there was 10 of us. I got the original team back together after 25 years.
Amazing.
And the crazy thing about it is that we're designing the entire game around this controller. So there's so many fun and funny things. See, I'll tell you one of the secrets of Earthworm Jim when we were making it is that we didn't sit down and said, okay, we're going to make a platform game and let's put some jokes in this game. That's not how we designed it. We never even had a game design document ever for Earthworm Jim. It was 10 people showing up, trying to make each other laugh every day. That's what we did. So what we did was we started with the joke and then we designed the gameplay around that joke. For example, you know, we were all sitting around the table and we're like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if at the beginning of the game, like we just hit a chicken up in the air or something, and they'd make because chickens are funny, right? And they make funny sounds, and then the chicken would just, every level you would see the chicken fly across in the background, and we're laughing and we're like, oh, and then somebody says, oh no, wait, what if it was like a cow? A cow! Right, oh my God, that's even more funny. We go, moo!
You want that guy?
And then we're like, well, how are we going to launch him in the, like, is he going to like shoot up in a rocket or? No, why don't we like launch him off like a teeter-totter? Oh, okay. Are we going to jump on the teeter-totter? No, Jim doesn't weigh that much. Maybe there was something heavy that you had to shoot and it would get. Oh, what could it be? What if it was an old refrigerator? Oh, well, why would there be an old refrigerator hanging? Oh, because it's in a junkyard. Oh, okay. And that's how the first level of Earthworm Jim was created. It was around the joke of launching an animal in the air and seeing it on every level throughout the whole game. So we're designing the new version exactly the same way. We got back together after 25 years. Now, that being said, over half the people on the Earthworm Jim team actually work full-time or part-time at Intellivision already. So the three artists that did all of the art in the Earthworm Jim games and Disney's Aladdin and Cool Spot and Global Gladiators before that, all of the artists work for Intellivision. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, Nick Broody is the guy doing Astro Smash, and Ed Schofield is doing he does a lot of our user interface stuff, and then Mike Dietz is the art director for a lot of the games, animations, and things like that. So it really is an absolutely incredibly talented bunch of folks, and we've been working with each other for 30 years. So I knew that in order to pull this off, I had to get the best in the industry and people I could trust and people who are the top. So again, Phill Adam, we sat down at E3, 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yep.
3 years ago. And what are you up to, Tom? Tell me about this Intellivision thing. I said, Phill, I got to have you at the company. And so we just literally handpicked the best of the best in the industry who were my close friends, who I knew I could trust. Jason Enos, our VP of production, who works a lot with me and Phill. He was the he was the producer and product manager for like all the Metal Gear Solid games, all the Silent Hill games, Contra, Castlevania. Might have heard of those. And then he also he was the guy who brought Dance Dance Revolution to the world. He was the one who took it out of Japan and brought it to the world. So these are the types of folks. We have over 600 years of video game experience just on our core executive team. It's really amazing.
And the funny thing is if you'll go in and look at our slides about the company presentation, people go, yeah. You can look, David Perry, 30 years. I hate to mention Phill Adam, 40 years, but for only being 49.
We even have guys like Scott Samura, who is the former president of Nintendo of America for their internal development team. He's the guy who did Wave Race 64. And you know what one of his first jobs was ever? He was the original designer and producer of the original Moon Patrol game in the arcades in the early 80s. Now he's the producer on our Moon Patrol game, which is, which you can play a demo of right now. Go on your phone, iOS or Android, download Amico Club. That's our Amico Club app. And we have a little demo there where you can play the first level of our Moon Patrol game. Now, it's just a mobile version. It's not on the TV. It's not with our controller, but we just wanted to give people a little taste of how we're going to bring back that simple fun. Moon Patrol, jump, shoot, and either slow down or speed up. Super easy. Keep it simple. And you'll see how much fun that one little taste, that one little level is.
And I think just so everybody understands, Tommy brought in some incredibly experienced people, but we were all about the passion that Tommy was driving. We all wanted to do something unique and special. And we realized that's what Amico is to all of us. It's something we've never done in our many years in the industry of bringing people back together, families back together, game night, like with the board game people meeting. It's a unique opportunity that even all the experience we've had, we get to do this together again. And we love working together. There's no egos there. Well, some, but we love what we're doing. We're passionate about Tommy's vision.
And it's so true. Like when you walk in, COVID now, you can't walk in our office, but when, before pre-COVID, people would walk in the office and you could just feel the electricity and the excitement. And I'll tell you guys, I have worked on the greatest and biggest selling video game franchises in the world. And I've also worked on some of the worst, right? And so some of the big franchises I've been involved with in my career, like say Earthworm Jim, Disney's Aladdin, but things like the early Madden football games, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I was on that original team, Guitar Hero, the original, Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero Aerosmith, the first 3 Guitar Hero games, Metroid Prime. I worked with 5 years with Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo.
Oh gosh.
Mortal Kombat, Pac-Man, the Sonic the Hedgehog. I was one of the first Americans to ever be hired to work directly with the Sega Japan Sonic team. So again, I've worked on the biggest titles, and I've worked on some of the worst, like Aquaman on the Xbox and Color a Dinosaur on the NES. You won't hear me bragging too much about that.
Yeah, Aquaman wasn't good. I'll say it.
Hey, I didn't design that. I just did the audio. I just did the sound design. I didn't even do the music. I just did the sound design.
It's actually great to be old. It's great to be old because I can be forgetful of all the shitty ones I work on. But I can tell you that all of the big, amazing, biggest selling video game franchises, they all had one thing in common. Every one of them, beyond a shadow of a doubt, they had that everybody on the team was passionate. They were excited. There was no there was no such thing as overtime, because you did it because you love to do it. Like we all would sit, what time is it? 3 a.m. How did that happen? And it's Sunday, and everything
is just passion driven, excitement. And all of the crappy games that I worked on were because people weren't into the project. It was just like a job. Everybody left when they had to leave, and they weren't passionate about what we're doing. So, we have over 50 full-time employees at Intellivision. And I can tell you, like Phill said, every one of them has this same passion. Like when we're hiring people, we don't necessarily hire the smartest. We hire the most passionate, who's also super smart as well too. That's one thing that really drives this company, and it's the whole culture of the company. Everyone is so excited every day to work on something that we all truly feel is going to help change the world. It's so unique. We're going to use technology to bring people back together, to bring families back together. You think about the average family these days, and the dad's on his cell phone checking news or stocks. Mom's on Pinterest or playing Candy Crush. Teenage daughters on TikTok and Instagram, and the little kids playing Roblox or Fortnite or whatever. So you have 4 people in a room, but they're not spending time together. They're all off in their own little worlds. And what we want to do is create something beautiful for everyone to sit down and reconnect and have a good time,
And I feel like the timing could not have been more perfect.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. With COVID. I mean, we never planned it that way, but the homes need something new, right? How many freaking puzzles can you do, right? At this point.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Not only the COVID, but everything was being very separated, like you said, daddy'd be on the computer, on the phone, mom's over here doing her Emily games or Love Nikki. I'm sure everybody's heard of that stuff. And of course my daughter, who's 12, she's, onto the TikTok and stuff like that. And it aggravates me because outside of short conversations in the home, we just kind of like, okay, now let's separate and do our thing. I want to get the wood grade and gold Amico.
Yeah.
I want to bring my family back together with games that we set and play that are simply games, good, solid games that aren't like you don't need to play the first one to know what's going on.
That's right. You can explain
it's nothing,
10 seconds.
Nothing that I couldn't show my daughter. It's not like a Resident Evil or something like that. We could all sit down and play it like family board game night, only on the Amico. And I love it. I love the whole concept.
Let me ask you, did you have any like brothers and sisters growing up, or did you play video games with your parents?
Yes. As a matter of fact, that's why I had an Atari when I was, not very, at the time, 5-6 years old. And then we got the Nintendo, and I would play along with my mom. We would take turns on Mario. Plus I had a brother. The sister was a little young. She never really got into that stuff, but
now is your mom and brother, they still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When was the last time you played a video game together with your mom?
15 years.
Okay. and was it like Wii bowling or something?
Yeah. Well, no, we were into Gauntlet.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Okay.
Cool.
So the family get together for a game. Yeah.
So this is my point to you right now. When you think back on your childhood, you get this amazing warm feeling of, those times when you were playing with your mom, playing with your brother and all that, playing with your neighborhood friends or whatever. Like there's that camaraderie. And again, you think of your mom especially, right? And that's what Amico is all about. Guys, what if I could tell you, you can play, it's been 15 years. What if I could give, you'll have a system where you and your mom can play together again.
Yeah.
And she could beat you.
And she probably could. And she has. And, and considering that everybody has one of these now.
How does that make you feel right now?
It makes me feel happy Tommy.
And that is what Amico is in a nutshell. I could go on and talk to you for 2 hours about it, but that right there, that is the essence of what we're capturing. And for people having kids now, they can share that experience they had growing up. They'll be able to now share that experience with the new generation, 3, 4, 5-year-olds, right? You know, a 4-year-old isn't going to be playing Fortnite or Roblox, you know, and that stuff. They're usually, you know, doing some swipe stuff on the phone or whatever. We're talking, and they're doing it by themselves, and parents are like freaking out because they give their kids the phone or the tablet and they're turning them into like little zombies, right? Because they're doing it by themselves. What all of our games, I'll give you an example. We got the Major League Baseball license. We got the Mattel Hot Wheels license, which is huge. We also have the Sesame Street license, 3 to 5-year-olds. Now, Sesame Street, now you say, oh, Tommy, there's games for kids on like the Switch and the Xbox and stuff. Oh, really? Educational games? Because tell me, Sesame Street's the biggest educational license on the planet. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tell me how many Sesame Street games there are on the PlayStation. Tell me how many Sesame Street games there are on the Xbox. And tell me how many Sesame Street games there are for the Nintendo Switch. Go ahead. I'll wait while you Google it.
I know. The only Sesame Street
if
game,
you want to save time, the answer is 0.
The only Sesame Street game I ever remember ever in my life was on NES.
Yeah.
And at the time it came out, I was probably like 11, but I had a younger brother. So we rented it from a video game store. And actually I had a blast with it, even though I was, you know, kind of older than the demographic was aimed at. But yeah, that was the last time. It was the one and only time that was on a game system was the NES back in.
But you see how we're doing stuff differently, right? You know what I mean? Like that's how we're doing stuff differently. Like we're thinking about those factions of people who aren't playing Switch, who aren't playing Xbox. And again, you say, why aren't they? And when you dive into it, you realize what it is. Now I'm not expecting KOTETSU to be running out and buying our Sesame Street game, you know.
He's first one, first line.
I am.
Yeah, we all might know. All of us will have it.
If you have Super Grover in there, then I'm in.
I'm in well, 100%. We do actually one of our games.
Then I'm in. Then I'm in.
There you go.
And the Sesame Street products will be in 3-game packs, guys. So hey,
yeah,
you can have a lot of fun, so.
And I'll do you one better, KOTETSU. It's Super Grover on a motorcycle.
That's actually really cool.
Huh?
I like that.
Hey, guys,
Evel Knievel.
Hey guys, you got about 5 more minutes of Tommy.
Yeah,
we'll be happy to do the show again. So yeah, take over, Switch.
Real quick,
is there any questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. Someone was asking in the chat, what are we looking at the time when this product your Intellivision Amico
Yeah, that's a great question. So originally we were planning for 10/10/2020 last year, and COVID threw a huge wrench into that, and we announced in August that we're unable to make the 10/10 date because of what's happening with everything, and we said in August, if everything goes smooth and everything gets back to normal by the end of the year, we should be able to make April. And as we all know, things have not gotten better. It's actually gotten worse. And we're here in California. And so in late November, the state of California, the governor locked down California. Yeah. So we can't go into offices. We have a 10 p.m. curfew. We have stay-at-home orders here in California, and that was for the month of November. And so we were like, oh man, that's going to throw a big wrench into our April release. And then, but we're like, let's see. And then at the end of November, the end of December, they said we're locking it down indefinitely.
Yeah, I'm actually in Cali, so yeah.
Oh, you know.
I know exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of things are getting it's getting a lot tougher out there for all of us to, or, you know, if we understand if it gets postponed to later, it's okay. You know, we're with you guys. We're here to support and we, you know, got something great here. Someone asked another great one.
And let me just end that one question though by saying is that, so we were on target for April. We're probably going to be making an announcement here within the next couple of weeks, and we're probably going to be hitting sometime in the summertime. We're working with our retailers and distributors and manufacturers, because it's not just us that make the decision, it's teams of people. But here's our commitment though. See, if we wanted to make April, we could rush it out. We don't want to do that.
Don't do that.
We
No,
do it. We
I
Don't do
want-
that.
That never ends well.
Exactly. So our commitment to quality is second to none, and we're not going to come out with a thing until it's 100% we're happy with it. So it's probably more than likely going to be summer, late summer. So
okay, that
that's my
sounds
honest answer.
Okay.
pretty awesome. For streaming services, someone was asking like if they want to stream on Twitch or so, and for those streamers, they're asking if will there be software that makes it easy to stream with your product?
No, well, it's an HDMI out.
Yeah, it's
so
HDMI.
So that's gonna be easy.
Yeah, so if you use OBS or whatever, you just HDMI, boom, and into your computer, and it's there. So yeah, it'll be pretty. But we don't have like anything where you capture stream from the. Again, we're not a powerhouse. We don't have the best graphics out there. We don't have the fastest real time, blah, 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 teraflop, this and that. We don't care. And you know who else doesn't care? My mom. She doesn't care. She just wants to have fun. She doesn't know a teraflop from a megaflop from a flippity flop. She has no idea from her own flip flops. So that's what we're doing. We're keeping it simple, keeping it easy. Good, it's all of our games are simple to look at. They're not complex, and that's the deal.
All right, thank you so much. I know you guys gotta go. Any last fast?
If there's other questions in the stream, throw them out. I'll do a quick round here.
I just want to say just real quick that I do appreciate the fact that you guys want to focus on quality, because a lot of developers out there who just need this out now and then they'll patch. Like honestly,
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Cyberpunk. They have a 53 gig patch. I'm like, what do you need that big of a patch for? And then you find out, you're like, oh, that's why. It still doesn't work.
I've been playing with that. Too many problems.
But I do appreciate that you guys are really focused on. We want this to be the best family experience that everyone can have. So, and
remember, no microtransactions, no loot boxes, no in-app really advertising. Cool. You pay $9.99 or less for a game.
And that's it.
You got it forever. It sits on your hard drive forever. You don't have to worry about any crap.
Yeah. And if you guys ever need a QA, I'm right here.
Yeah. Now I gotta ask you guys really quick, because this is interesting to me, because you all seem kind of interested and excited about what we're doing. How can you guys go around, like Mr. Switch? How old are you?
I'm 40.
Okay. Awaken, how old? You're more closer to us.
Yeah, 44.
Okay. And now you got to be the youngest though, right? KOTETSU?
Yeah, I'm 31.
31, and then Atari X.
43.
Okay, so 30 to 40, 30 to 45, that demo, and you guys are gamers, I imagine. Would you consider yourselves hardcore gamers?
Oh, definitely.
I'm a hardcore, yeah.
So here's the interesting thing. You guys are excited about it, right? And show some interest. When your age group and demographic is actually pretty low down on the list who are most excited about it, because it's the moms, the seniors, so imagine what could happen with our console if we play all our cards right and do everything. We could be onto something extremely big here, where it's not just it's like a little niche product for retro gamers. We really feel like if we can break into that same market that the Wii did, they sold 102 million units. So who knows where we could go, So we're excited about the future.
One of you could have been older. One of you could have been older than my oldest kid, though. That kind of pisses me off.
Somebody asked, what would be the launch game for the summer? If so, like,
what would be the
launch game for like the summertime? Let's say it comes out summer, like let's say launch title for, you know, or let's say, actually, let me see, what will be launch?
I think we've announced pack-ins. We haven't really announced a lot of the launch titles.
I mean, we have 35 games on launch. So if you know, there's a great video. Actually, we did that launch video, Phill.
Yep.
If you go on our YouTube channel, just put in Intellivision, you'll see the light blue running man icon. Go on our channel, and we did. I think it was in October. Yeah, I think it was around October. We did a 10-minute video that featured 23, I think, or 25 games. All of those games, for the most part, right now are scheduled for that launch window period.
Yeah, I watched that same video you're talking about. It really got me excited because I was, you know, because you see the updated version of these games, and I was like, oh, I remember biplanes back in the day.
Right.
You know, Astro Smash, Demon Attack. You know,
Night Stalker.
I think we'd love to come on 30, 45 days from now, but when we're announcing those kind of things, and do the show again. So we'll be happy to come back and do this again, guys.
One final question. Give it to me.
All right, final question. Atari X, you got one?
What was your greatest accomplishment, Tommy?
Doing this interview.
Yes. All right, guys. Look,
I would say playing the Hollywood Bowl in my career.
Oh wow!
The first show I ever did with Video Games Live was at the Hollywood Bowl, and in front of tens of thousands of people. I mean, that's every kid's dream, and you know.
People told Tommy he was crazy. Who would listen to video game music with symphony orchestras? And he sold out the Hollywood Bowl, his very first conference with the LA Philharmonic. And so anybody who doubts Tommy Tallarico, take a look at that.
You really started that. Now it's a whole genre because you got bands
there's like 5 or 6 knockoffs now.
8-bit. Yeah.
I love it.
Exactly.
This is amazing. I appreciate all the time you guys given us, and oh man, this has been very inspiring for. You know, to have you back, Phill, Tommy, to meet you. Glad to have you guys here.
And it's 5:30 here in California.
Yes,
and I'm actually on my way into the office now. So I'll be working.
He's gonna sneak in a little work while nobody's looking. So
yeah, we got some things at the office we got to do. I'll have to turn my headlights off so I don't get arrested or something. I don't know.
Hey, but guys,
we won't tell anybody.
Guys, we do this for you guys. You guys being fans, you guys supporting us. This is what we do it for. Without a doubt, there's no greater pleasure. So in a way, it's great being on the show. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
And we appreciate your work.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Cannot wait to see where this goes.
Spread the words, my friends. Thank you.
Definitely, we will do the best we can. Gamerz Rum on this will be premiering Thursday on Thursday night. I think maybe around 7:30 Central Time, on YouTube, and I'm going to actually premiere this again on the Facebook Gamerz Rum as well. So I'm going to be doing a lot of re-premiering of this episode. So it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Thank you, KOTETSU. Thank you, Atari X. Thank you, AWAKENBAKON. Thank you so much, Phill. Thank you so much, Tommy. You guys have been amazing.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys, showing interest in what we're doing. Really appreciate it.
All right. We love it, guys.
Thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Phill.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. Thank everyone who's been watching. Thank you guys so much. See you guys all next time.
Thank you.
It's just like hanging with the few of your friends. Talking games, cartoons, and all the trends. From voice actors to game masters, they got guests to talk about matters of fun. So run and tune into them. They can't be outdone, yeah, they #1. It's the